So, you've created the foundation for your wedding and you've gotten organized. Now what? In this video, I'll be walking you through step number 3 of 7 steps to planning and creating a wedding you love. Hi there, I'm Jamie Chang, your destination wedding planning guru and designer of joy at Mango Muse Events and the creator of Passport to Joy, the step-by-step online wedding planning course for couples. And I share real and honest and useful tips, tricks, and advice you can use to help make planning your wedding easy and joyful so you can create a wedding you love. Because let's be honest, wedding planning isn't always very happy. It can be super overwhelming, stressful, and sometimes downright painful. And nobody wants that. So we're bringing the joy back to wedding planning. Are you ready? Let's do this. Now, in our last video, we talked about step number 2, and we talked about how to get organized. We discussed why it's important and what you need to be working through and creating. So if you haven't checked that video out first, you're going to want to do that and then come back to this one. Please feel free to hit pause, go check that one out, and then come back. Now today, we're going to be talking about the next steps. So what comes after this? And this is, once again, step 3 in the 7 steps to planning and creating a wedding you love. So you want to make sure you subscribe so that you get all the new videos. All right, so step number 3, we're going to dive right in here. Step number 3 is all about creating your design. Yep, this is a big one. Now, before we sort of dive into step number 3 and what that entails, I want you to know that really step 3 and step 4 go hand in hand. They work together, and we'll talk more about this in the next video, but I want you to be prepared for that. As you think through this, it will kind of go hand in hand with our next video. All right, so design. Now, your design, like your vision, is super duper important, because this is what's going to help you along the way, help you figure out what you want, and dictate sort of what your decision making will be going forward. So you know how we talked about the vision, and the vision really is sort of that big picture, the big picture concepts, ideas, feelings, experiences. Your design gets much more specific, but it's also equally important. You really need both, and you want them to be very clear, because this is what makes your wedding yours, what makes it unique and special. Now, this is obviously a huge topic, which I could talk about for hours and hours and hours and hours, which I do actually in Passport to Joy. But I want to give you some tips you can use right now as you're starting to sort of think through your design and coming up and brainstorming ideas. So, first off, it's really, really, really important that you know that design is about much more than just what you see. It's also what you feel. It's the experience that you're creating for yourself and for your guests. So it's not just about flowers, and it's not just about tablecloths. It's about the mood, the atmosphere. It's about what happens, how the day goes, and all of the surprises and special touches that are involved. So how do you think about this? So the best way, I think, is to think about it from sort of start to finish. So think about your wedding day from the very, very beginning to the very, very end, okay? And think about how you want that to go. Think about how you want that to be. So here are some questions to kind of get your brain going, okay? So first off, how are your guests greeted? What's going to be the order of things for the day? What do you plan on happening, or what do you want to happen during your ceremony? What are you including in your reception, and who are you including in your reception? What do you really want it to feel like at different moments in the day? Maybe it's all the same, but maybe it's not. And what would make it fun? Because we all want it to be fun. What would make it fun? Okay, so think through the entire day, and not just, the small little, decor details, but think through the day, because that will really help you to create your unique design and that experience that you really want. Now, it's also super duper important that you remember that the biggest part of your design, so the biggest part of your design, okay, is you. You are what makes your wedding special. You are also what makes your wedding unique because you're unique and your partner's unique, and together you guys are unique. So you want to celebrate that. Okay? You want to bring that into your wedding. So don't feel like you need to pick a theme or pick, a set number of colors or pick a certain style. You can have green and purple and red. You can infuse your love of travel and books and dogs and Breaking Bad and tacos. It's all good. You can be modern and rustic and boho and preppy and classic all wrapped into one. There are no rules. I'm going to say that again. When it comes to your design, there are no rules, okay? You want to be able to design and create in whatever way makes sense for you, in a way that brings you joy, in a way that will create a wedding that makes you happy. So don't, be confined to the box. Like, break the box. There are no boxes. There are no rules. So what you want to do is infuse your wedding with your personalities, with the things you love, with your backgrounds, and your stories, your journey together. Bring all of those pieces in and infuse that into your wedding, and then share that with your guests. I give you full permission to put it all in, even if it doesn't seem like it necessarily works together. It'll be much more fun and much more meaningful when you stay true to yourself and you remember to make your wedding in a way that's important to you, that matters to you, that has actual meaning. Okay? Now, as you start designing, as you start thinking through ideas, as you start thinking through items, you're inevitably going to start looking for inspiration. And there's so much inspiration, right? From wedding blogs to magazines to, of course, the granddaddy, right? Pinterest. And you can easily just get lost in all the photos, in all of the inspiration, just inspiration overload. And what this can do is just waste a lot of time, which nobody wants. So there are really two important tips that I want to make sure you get right now, so that as you start diving into this, you'll keep this at the back of your mind and can really kind of streamline the process. So the first, tip number 1, is that you want inspiration to be inspiration. So you want to treat inspiration as inspiration, meaning do not copy, okay? So don't take some wedding you see on, say, Style Me Pretty, and just to make your wedding that. You don't want to do that. You want to take pieces of what you see and, a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of this, and then put together your version, your design, your creation. Because as I said before, everyone's unique, and that includes you. And your unique combination of style and flavor and flair, and that's going to be different than whatever wedding you saw on some wedding blog. So use the inspiration as a tool, as a jumping off point to creating your unique combination. Okay? And then tip number 2. So you want to use Pinterest also as a tool, and most importantly, as a search engine. So you don't want to spend hours and hours and hours on Pinterest, which you easily could, just going down this rabbit hole where you can't see the light of day. Trust me, it happens a lot. And that just results in a lot of wasted time. Wasted time and you feeling really muddled and confused, because you'll end up, finding things that are pretty or cute or fun, but they don't necessarily apply to you. They don't apply to your wedding. They don't apply to your vision. They don't apply to your design. And so it can just muddy the waters. And this doesn't help you. This wastes tons of time. So what you want to do is search for what you're looking for, get that inspiration and then get off. Like limit your time on Pinterest. Don't keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling because you're going to go down that rabbit hole and it's not going to help your design at all. And this kind of circles back to what we talked about with vision, when we talked about with design in the very beginning, which is that you just really want to make sure you have that clear vision and in turn, that clear design, because it's so important. It's what's going to help you be super laser focused. It'll help you to be able to search in a very strategic way and just not waste time because you know what you want. You know what you're looking for. You know what you're trying to create. It's just a matter of how to do that. And your inspiration and your Pinterest is what will help you with the how. But make sure you're just very clear, okay? Now, as I mentioned earlier on, step 3, which is what we're talking about now, creating your design, and step 4, which is what's coming next, really go together. They work together. They work hand in hand. So when you're thinking about your design, as you start thinking through all of this, just know that the next step is also going to be a part of this as well. They're going to work together, which means you are going to want to subscribe so that you can make sure you get step number 4, our next video. Okay? Now I want to hear from you. What's one personal thing you're going to include in your wedding design? Let me know in a comment below. And if you liked today's video, please like it, give us some thumbs up. If you are interested in more wedding planning tips, please check out our other videos. And remember, hit subscribe so you can get all the new ones. And if you want help creating that vision and creating your design and then creating your entire wedding, we can help you through the entire process with Passport to Joy, my online program. So you're going to want to check that out. All the links are below. Because you deserve to enjoy your engagement, no matter what your budget is. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.